We are the first generation to feel the effects of climate change, and the last which can do anything about it. An extremely powerful quote by Barack Obama from his speech during the Climate Change Summit in New York in 2014. It has been quite some time since then, but these words hold true as ever. Hello, I'm Aayush Dhoble, and today I'll be diving deeper to see what exactly is climate change and what we can do to mitigate its effects. Climate change is not new. However, today, when talking about climate change, we are referring to the changes after 1880, which was when we first started to use thermometers and other meteorological instruments to measure temperature and CO2 levels. Climate change is the long-term change in temperature and weather patterns. Since 1880, meteorologists are recognizing it. Yet, why is it that no serious action was taken on it? Well, although a small part of the population did know about it, for they were well educated and hence aware, most of the population did not. Due to this, there was no pressure on politicians and governments to bring about a change. Now, I'll be talking a bit about how the rate of climate change has increased. Well, the reason was the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution led to the introduction of many new machines and technologies. However, most of these were powered by coal and petroleum, both of which are fossil fuels, and release tremendous amounts of greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which has led to an increase in the rate of climate change. Since 1880, when records began, the global temperature has increased by a humongous 1.1 degrees centigrade according to NASA's Earth Observatory. The carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere of the Earth was just over 280 parts per million in the pre-industrial times, which has now increased to a mind-boggling 415 parts per million, an all-time high according to climate.gov. The projected rise in temperature by the end of this century is a whopping 2.4 degrees centigrade from the pre-industrial levels. The implications of such a rise in temperature will be disastrous. We are already seeing some of them in the form of record temperatures, droughts, and heat waves across Europe, Asia, and Africa this year. Floods have been ravaging various countries like India, Iran, Pakistan, and many cities like Pune and Mumbai over the last few years. Here, you can see an image of the 2019 Pune floods. And all of these floods have been occurring due to the changing weather patterns and the improper drainage systems. Glaciers are melting at an alarming rate, which is further expected to rise by the end of this century. For example, the Siachen Glacier, located in Ladakh, has retreated almost 1.5 kilometers in the 2 decades succeeding 1990, as you can see here. This will, as we can quite clearly see, lead to a tremendous rise in sea levels, thus endangering the existence of many small islands and island countries like Maldives. Climate change was first recognized as a serious problem in the 1960s. The first real action was taken by the Conference of Parties, COP, in COP3, which was held in Kyoto, Japan. The Kyoto Protocol had countries keep a check on their emissions. The most recent climate action plan was the Paris Agreement, which took place in COP21, 2015, held in Paris. In this agreement, all 197 countries part of it agreed to limit rise in temperatures to below 2 degrees centigrade above pre-industrial levels by the end of 2030. The Indian government too introduced a climate action plan in 2008 called the National Climate Action Plan, NAPCC, whose aim was to mitigate and adapt to climate change. The NAPCC planned to increase solar energy output, energy efficiency, and water use efficiency by the end of 2017, which was when this plan terminated. The Maharashtra state government was the first state government to introduce a climate action plan, which was in the form of the Mumbai Climate Action Plan, which aims to remove carbon emissions from the city by 2050. However, this plan is limited only to Mumbai. As we have seen, many climate action plans have been introduced at many different levels, globally, nationally, and even at the state level. However, along with these, there have been many new inventions and many new ideas have been thought up to help us in our struggle against climate change. For example, the line is a project that is still in its planning stages in Saudi Arabia, but the idea behind it is extremely innovative and one never heard of before. In it, there will be no roads, cars, or emissions, and it will run 100% on renewable energy. 95% of the land will be preserved for nature. The line will eventually accommodate 9 million people and will be built on a footprint of just 34 square kilometers, meaning a reduced infrastructure footprint and an end-to-end railway network that will eliminate the need for roads. You can see an image of the line here. All this will greatly reduce carbon emissions, and the land preserved for nature will make it an oxygen-filled city with an amazing ecosystem and will help save many species from extinction. More and more inventions will keep coming up and climate action plans will be made, but they can't help us and our planet if we don't join hands to save our planet. We must do whatever we can to limit climate change, and we can do a lot. For starters, just doing small things like segregating your waste, bathing using 1 bucket of water instead of 2, and so many more can help our planet a lot. We can cycle for shorter distances, say no to plastic bags, and use organic products packaged using biodegradable materials to help out. We can spread awareness amongst the general public about climate change and the various inventions related to it so as to help our planet. Taking eco bags along with you when going out on trips and picnics to collect the garbage there is something which we can do to clean our environment. Even I do it when I go out. Planting trees and stopping deforestation will reduce carbon dioxide levels in the air, and the trees will hold up the soil to prevent erosion. As said by Geisel Bunchen, one thing leads to another. Deforestation leads to climate change, which negatively impacts our livelihoods, and it leads to ecosystem losses. It is a vicious cycle. So come on, let's come together, join our hands to save this planet, for it is the only one we have, and we will go extinct without it. Without the support of every single member of our species, it is not possible to save our planet. But with the support of each one, can we? I will end with 3 words that have been etched in our history books to answer this question. Yes, we can. Thank you.